Hi, welcome, and thank you for joining us. I'm Ginger Garvey. I'm the Senior Partner for Freedom Financial Partners, and today we're going to be looking at IRS mileage deductions on a personal tax return. So the intent for this tutorial is to cover the basics, provide you with where to go for additional information, and to provide you with a do-it-yourself mileage log that you can download from our website, along with the instructions on how to use it. So we'll get started. Thank you for joining us. Okay. So again, I'm Ginger Garvey. I'm the Senior Partner at Freedom Financial Partners. We'll be discussing mileage deductions on a personal tax return. The topics that we're going to be covering in this tutorial include what allowable mileage deductions are and the specific amounts for 2015 and 2016. What are the requirements for tracking and record keeping? What documentation is needed? And where in your tax return would you report the mileage expenses in order to claim the deductions? In 2016, the mileage amounts are actually lower than they were in 2015. This is due in part to the decrease in gas prices. The IRS sets the mileage log based on a study that's conducted periodically, and the new rates will be 54 cents a mile for business, 14 cents a mile for charitable deductions, and moving and medical are 19 cents a mile for 2016. We've also included a 2015 mileage log. I know it's still early in the year and there's lots of you that are working on putting together your 2015 tax records, so we do have that 2015, the rates and the mileage log for your use. So the first thing that we need to make sure that we understand is that when you are doing mileage deductions, there is not a receipt for you to save. So there is not a receipt, but there is an IRS requirement that you have written evidence. So this is straight off of the Schedule C, and the IRS asks, do you have evidence to support your deduction, yes or no? And if yes, is that evidence written? So you must be responsible for creating written documentation to substantiate your mileage deductions. The good news is there's lots of options available. If you do a quick search, you'll find everything from apps that you can download to your phone that will keep track of not just your mileage but other expenses as well. And there's also many do-it-yourself Excel spreadsheets, including the one from our website. You can also have your paper planner and include on your calendar the details of the mileage that is related to each and every meeting that you have that results in mileage. So you have lots of options. The key things that you need to have in that documentation is the date when the mileage was incurred, the location that you were traveling both from and to, the description, what I call the calendar information, who you were meeting with and why, and then were there any additional expenses, tolls, parking, etc. You can also claim those as a deduction. And then we're calling it the purpose, but this would be the deduction category. Is this for business? Is it for charitable, medical, or moving expenses? And then you would want to total your mileage. So those are the pieces of information that are required, and you can display and collect that information in any manner that you choose. We do have a Excel spreadsheet that you can download from our website. So here is how you would get to that. Number one, go to our website, which is www.freedomfinancialpartnersllc.com. And there will be a link in the tutorial as well. Then select resources in the menu bar. And then the next thing would be to select the log, whether it's the mileage log for 2015 or the mileage log for 2016 that you need. Once you select that, it will download to your desktop and you can open it and you will see a blank mileage log that looks like this. It is Excel based. There are formulas that will calculate the expenses for you. They have been set up with the 2016 rates or the 2015 rates, depending on which version you use. In the purpose column where you actually have your IRS deduction category, you will see a drop down, and that's how the formulas are driven. So here it is completed with some data entries, and you can see that we have a Ford E350 that was put into service on June 15th of 2014. The original cost for the vehicle was $14,000, and it has a total miles for the year of 4,500. So we're showing a few entries here. January 6th, you see that we started at the and then we traveled to office 12490 for a 3 o'clock appointment with Joe Smith. This was business mileage, and you see the odometer start and end mileage, and then the mileage is actually calculated as well as the version. We began at 12490 and moved to office 11672 for a 5 p.m. appointment with Mary Mills. Again, this was business, and you again see the odometer start, end, the mileage, and the reimbursement amount. On the 6th, again, we began at office 11672, and we went to church. That purpose for that was to volunteer for the children's choir. This would be a charitable deduction. We have the odometer start and end, the mileage, and the reimbursement amount. Then leaving the church, we went home. Again, that counts as the charitable deduction at the charitable rate. And then that was the end of the mileage for January 6th. On January 7th, you can see here that we left the house and we made multiple destinations, and this was personal errands. There's no need to have any more specific detail because that is mileage that is not reimbursed, and you can see that the amount is 0. You do still want to keep track of that. It helps keep the odometer reading straight and just makes it for cleaner records. So that's how you would go ahead and complete the mileage log. In the event that you need additional rows, there's a note in the file to just add the rows above the bottom where the mileage is calculated. You should be able to just copy the formulas down the rows. So once you have your mileage log and you are able to calculate and categorize the different areas, how are we going to report these expenses into the tax return? Business mileage may, as for example, in my instance, I have multiple businesses, and so I actually have to identify the mileage for the specific business so that that expense goes against the correct business. In addition, if you have rental income, you would keep the mileage for those businesses the same way. So business mileage goes into the personal tax return on a Schedule C or a Schedule E for rental, and you would list it by the specific activity. Excuse me. If you require additional information, and there are a lot of details as to exactly what business mileage is included and how to account for it, there is details both in the instruction for the form Schedule C as well as in Publication 17, Chapter 26. Charitable mileage will go into your Schedule A. It would be used as part of itemized deductions. If you use a standard deduction, you would not need to keep track of your charitable miles. There's more details under Publication 17, Chapter 24. Medical miles. The medical miles would be included as part of medical expenses and would be reported on Schedule A. Again, this would be for itemized deductions. And there's additional information about the medical mileage as well as other travel expenses in the Publication 17, Chapter 21. Moving expenses. Moving expenses can be reported on Form 3903, which is your moving expenses form, and the information pertaining to exactly how moves are tax deductible and what would qualify and what would not can be found in Publication 521. There is no deduction allowed for commute or personal mileage. You will be asked to exclude your commute from your business mileage when you are doing your calculations. So that wraps up this brief tutorial on the IRS mileage deductions on a personal return. And I hope that this was helpful. If you have any questions, please feel free to send an email. You can reach us on our website. And if you'd like additional information, just fill out the contact form, and that does generate an email to us, and we'll get right back to you. So I hope that this was helpful, and good luck. Thank you.